You were German?
Yeah.
That's very nice. What did you do? Did your folks move from Germany years ago?
My dad and mother both, yeah.
Where'd you shoot this?
It's up in Oregon, Oregon Bulb Farms.
Isn't that funny you said Oregon? That means you came from another state but California.
Why?
Well, that's not pronounced Oregon.
It's true. We call it Oregon.
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 I'm sorry about that.
I'll ask you again. Where did you take this picture? No, really. Don't. Where did you shoot it?
Oregon?
Oregon. When did you shoot this picture?
About 1962, 3.
Nice picture. Isn't it?
Lovely picture. Lovely picture.
In the era of 35mm and smaller cameras today, what did you shoot that with?
These are all 4.5s. Available light, tripod, long lens, keep the background soft.
How long a lens on a 4x5?
About 9.5.
You know, the 4x5 is coming back in again.
Is it?
Look at this, George. From the beautiful flowers. We'll come back to these flowers. There's some more of them. But look at this.
Now, this was not taken, this was taken a while ago, wasn't it?
About 1941,
Yeah, that's a while ago.
made for Balti for their advertising and then used in the bond drives.
Were you shot, when you took this, were you a civilian or were you in the military?
I was a civilian then.
Civilian. George, look at the nice use. I
Yeah.
assume you used flash to match or
That's
artificial
right.
light.
Flash, the yellow flash indoors and in the bomb bay, and then the blue flash on the outside.
Wonderful picture.
And then exposed for the sky. And these are all uniforms, British uniforms we got in the prop house, the loading of the bombs and so forth.
Nice picture. How this was used in the bomb drives, in the bond drives?
And for Balti, this is made for the British. And it went into the art director show, San Francisco art director show.
Herman, is it difficult to match the artificial with the, because you know,
Well, we had a system down where we could read the meter on a photo flood and then convert it to flash, and that was your f-stop.
that's nice.
That's before there were flash meters and all those good
Oh,
things.
that's true, yeah.
That's really good. Look, before we get too deep, because I have some questions here, let me just say that the name of the show is Talk About Pictures. I'm George Fenneman, and this is our friend Lee Weiner, who is a very, very good professional photographer. And with us is our guest. I guess you could say that you've been taking pictures a long time, too.
Yes, I have.
Mr. Wall?
When's the last time I called you Mr. Wall? Wasn't it Lieutenant Wall? The reason I say, George, is if you let me go from there to this, look at this. Herman?
Well, that's real, though. This you set up. The one
That's
you just
right,
saw.
uh-huh.
This was set up.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But
That's advertising.
Herman, you went from this as a civilian. Did you get a direct commission to do this? Were you an officer in the EM? How did you work that?
I got a direct commission from the Motion Picture Academy, and I became a second lieutenant.
You like that, George? Second Lieutenant Herman Wall
And
from
then I
civilian
became
Herman
a
Wall.
first lieutenant, and then I became captain. And when I retired, I became a major.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
In that kind of, where was this shot?
This was on Normandy, Omaha Beach, and all 35 millimeter.
Herman, we had Joe Rosenthal on our series.
The what?
Joe Rosenthal, the photographer,
yes.
shot the Iwo Jima picture. And there was a similar picture of him, you know, in a landing craft. He had some interesting thoughts that went through his head in that craft. What went through your eye?
Well, like any job, I was interested in the photography. I wasn't even frightened until that.
That's exactly what Joe said.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So it's a kind of, the photography took away the burden of worrying
That's
about
right.
the enemy.
It-
And I assume this is another one that you took.
And these were the original, or the first still pictures to me, Army still pictures that were made at the time, and consequently were used very heavily. After the first day, the storms came in, and they weren't able to get anything out, you see, so they became important for news release.
Look at this, George, I know the story of this. Herman, tell George the story of that. That's,
I photographed this man. I didn't know him from Adam, of course, and about 6 months later in the Army hospital, I was in the lobby. I was on crutches here.
excuse me, I must interrupt. You shot him when?
On D-Day.
oh, this is actually D-Day.
Yeah, that's right.
How
This
soon,
stuff, this
how
stuff
soon were
is
you
happening.
landed?
It's about 90 minutes after
90 minutes
D-Day.
after you landed.
And when I went through the pictures, I met this man, GI, in the lobby of the hospital. Where were you? Normandy. What beach? Omaha. What sector? Easy Red. Well, I was there. he was there. I said, come up to the ward, and I have the copy of the pictures. I showed him the pictures. He said, that's me.
Oh, it is a small world, isn't it?
That's a picture you shot of him.
66 months later, and out of 1 million men, there he is.
Question, he was in the hospital? You were in the
Yes,
hospital. Why were you in the
yes,
hospital?
Why was I there?
Yes.
Well, I was injured on the landing, and so was he, see.
So after you shot that, you were injured?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to something earlier in your life, Herman. 1930s look.
1930, Bear Creek Orchards. Illustration for Frank Taylor, the writer. I don't know whether you remember him or not.
Yes, I do.
And I made a whole series up there in color. And this is all available light outdoors.
In 4x5?
4x5.
Yeah.
It has a quality, doesn't it?
It has a
George?
4x5 look.
That's coming back, just so you look.
That's nice. Oh, I like that.
This is Archipenko, the European sculptor.
Yes, yeah.
And
Wonderful shot.
Yeah.
this made in the middle 30s, along with his statues. And
You had to light this.
yes, we had to light this, and when I brought the prints to him, he looked at them and he looked. He says, "It looks just like me."
Boy, that's
liked
rare.
it.
Isn't that rare?
Yeah, that's very good. you know.
Herman, how many subjects have you had say that to you?
That was the only one, I think.
How about
That's a
this?
wonderful picture.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. That's great.
Another 30s picture?
Yeah, early 30s, and
Who's
one of
that?
my early salon prints. It's a man by the name of Risso, and his son used to be the one-armed tennis player out at the Bel Air Country Club before in the 30s, and he brought him down to the house, and one light like you're using here, you
Right.
know, and well, you just couldn't miss, you know.
Well, that
Herman,
face,
Herman, you
that
just said something very
craggy-
interesting, George. Herman said something interesting. Maybe our audience would like to know.
Salon. Huh?
No, we'll come back to that, but how we're lighting this show. I mean, when the audience sees a picture of Herman, our guest, he's being lit by only one light,
That's
correct?
true. That's amazing.
And when they see a single shot of George Fenneman,
I'm lit by 5 lights. 'Cause
nah,
I'm
come
not
on, let's be fair. George is only being lit by one shot. And the whole concept is that George's key light, my key light, serves as our guest backlight. And our guest backlight is our key light. So this whole show is actually lit by only 3 lights. 2 for our guests and ourselves, and 1 for the photographs. I just thought it might be an interesting point they might want to know.
Comes to 4 lights. But,
Yes.
This was used in many salons in Europe and America.
what happened to the salon?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is a salon print?
Well,
How do you define a salon
It was a
print?
kind of artsy-craftsy thing for a long time, wasn't it? I
Well,
mean,
you could submit 4 prints, and then they would accept it, you see. And one amazing thing, I'd shipped to Holland, and my middle initial is V, and I lived in Hollywood, so I would always get reproduction. Herman Van Wall, Hollywood, California. Then when I'd submit in Germany, Herman Von Wall, Hollywood. I don't know who I am.
But Herman, the content of the photograph does not affect whether it's a salon print or not. It's the fact that it's entered into a salon. That's what makes it a salon print.
You got me.
do they still have salons, really?
I don't think so,
They've
not like
fallen
they
into
used
kind
to.
of a
This was
disrepute, haven't they? With,
yeah, in
with
the
what's
20s,
going on
30s, yes.
in photography today.
And, Mary Carlisle, this was in the
Yes,
30s.
Mary
and,
Carlisle.
Mary Carlisle
Yeah.
Blakely.
Well, I know a musical
you?
comedy. No, I don't know her personally,
No,
but very good actor.
yeah.
You know, played a lot of shows.
How was it shot?
I had an autograph-lex at that time. It was on the boat that went to Catalina. The,
Autograph-lex is the one with a long.
well,
You
and,
look down into.
and the long bellows.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
That's not natural light, is it?
yeah, sunlight.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful quality.
How long a lens, Herman?
About 9.5.
Oh, it's
No, 11-inch, I think.
You're not going to believe this, you know, in this day and age of 35 and stuff, I take pictures with a 4x5 Graflex and a 40-inch shoot portraits. I enjoy
Really?
it very much. Yeah. It's a beautiful picture. Similar type of thing. Was this also outdoor natural light?
Sunlight, you bet. That's a great light, you know. That. Sunlight and daylight.
Yes, it is.
There is a feeling about that camera, isn't there, and that combination
Yeah,
that you don't get with 35. Am I right, or
Well,
would I get an
I would
argument?
argue with one point that I have a 125mm Hector lens, which you use in the bellows, a Leica lens, 125, not the 135. And I got to tell you, you can get that quality, but that's beautiful quality.
Well, there's a distortion that you get, isn't there, with your lens and your bellows
No.
as compared?
No.
No.
You know?
The only way you can notice that is when you get within 2 or 3 feet of it, but you stand back 6 feet and you can't tell 35 or 4 or 5.
Not today you can't.
No.
Look at this.
that. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I love it.
Is that shot
I love
from
it.
ad, or what was it? Was that an assignment or what, Herman?
Oh, this was, I was working for the YMCA at the time. In fact, I worked at the Hollywood YMCA while I was going to art school,
Which art school?
the Art Center School.
Oh, yeah.
And,
So, excuse me, one second.
Will
Keep going.
Connell was a teacher?
oh, yes.
A
and,
great photographer teacher,
great-
wasn't he?
great photographer,
teacher.
great teacher.
Yeah.
And,
And a funny man, too. He had a great sense of humor.
Keep going. What else did you study at Art Center besides photography? Will Connell, obviously photography. Did you study anything else besides photography?
that was it. We
Connell
had
was a great
composition and drawing, too, you see. But
You did have drawing.
I just love that picture. That's just-
George, I like the story. I had heard the story behind this. I love the story behind that. Herman?
Well, you tell me.
This is the 1st Cavalry Division that was shot down in Yuma while they were on maneuvers.
When?
And that was before Pearl Harbor. After Pearl Harbor, they took their horses away and shipped them to the Philippines.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
I remember
That's
that.
how you do it, you know.
but the composition of that, I mean, it's just a perfect setup. You couldn't miss, you know.
Yeah, well, I like the thinking, you know. You train them on horses, and then you keep their horses until they stay.
Well,
you go.
Them.
That's
You
another
ask for the
idea.
ski patrol, and they send you to the South Pacific.
You said it.
Yeah. Now, this is the same series.
It looks almost like something from a movie.
Where's John Wayne? He could be, you know. There's John there.
Yeah.
Look at the helmets, George.
Yes.
Well, now we come to something very interesting, George. From that, look at this. And this is one of the reasons that Herman's work excites me.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't limit. He's not in a box.
you-
He shoots portraits.
And that has
This was made for Eastman Kodak Company, the magazine called Applied Photography. William A. Reedy, director.
How long
And,
ago?
Oh, this is within the last 10, 15 years.
But you know, that's a great magazine.
And it's out of print now. He passed away.
Right.
And he's the one that started the advertising products with,
Photography.
in this case, it was Franciscan ware. Outdoors on location, available light.
That's all available light?
All available light, yeah. And
35?
the others, no, this is 2 1/4.
And I guess
Hasselblad.
there is only one 2 1/4 camera today, isn't there, unfortunately?
Well, I think that's the one I like.
Oh, boy.
And,
This is the same series, right?
yes, and these are all on location. This is up near Mammoth, but the amazing thing on this, of course, the film is Eastman Kodak, white and black, and I mean, if you get a good black and a clean white and still retain your color,
Yeah.
It's tough.
it's
That's got a great feeling.
available light with just one little hand reflector, you see.
It's very nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
If you think that's beautiful, George, we like to one-up ourselves in this show.
Well, you're,
Well, let's just put it right here, so the poor cameraman.
Was that also, that's also available light?
yes, all of it. And of course, the problem is to find a location and then the have all the props available before you go up.
What do you like to shoot best? You like food?
If I can eat it after I get through this.
I'd like to have some of that right there.
But if you had an open-end assignment, someone says, hey, Herman, we'd like to go out and we want you to shoot 10 pages for our magazine. Anything you really want to shoot. What do you think you'd...
I don't know.
You've done it all, haven't you?
That's right.
You've done
I like
you
them
know,
all.
the portraits you've done are just
Defeats
magnificent.
a problem, you know.
And the still life, you know, this is, which is an area that I enjoy. I've never done anything like this.
You would enjoy still life more than people, wouldn't you? No.
Oh, I don't know. I like people that I'm posing. I don't have the nerve to take the grab shot that this fella does.
I like the people I work with, too. Very interesting, you know. Now, this is up at the same location called Archilarius Ranch. It's about 10 miles northeast of Mammoth. And this set up at the same place, food setup, Franciscan ware. That's
Again,
the shot.
Hasselblad, again, of natural...
These are all Hasselblads, yeah.
Nectachrome.
All 2 1/4.
Beautiful.
You know, and it was a time when they wouldn't think of shooting food with natural light. Oh, here's another
Ooh.
series. Take a look at that.
See
That's
here
a
the
pretty
river for the
complicated picture.
That
background.
really is, yeah.
And originally we had the snow-capped mountains in the back, and back at Eastman in the lab, they would look at it and everybody would say, look at those snow-capped mountains.
Yeah,
They never
forget-
saw the food. So we had it cropped off.
But the mountains were in this photograph.
Well,
Yeah,
the
they
thing
were
was
original.
square to begin with anyway,
Yeah, that's
wasn't
right.
it?
And so bring your eyes back to the product.
Do you learn much from designers, from art directors?
It's hard to say, yes and no. They have the layout, they have the thought behind it, and this is what you've got to follow, but this is on our own, you see. We can pick our locations.
When you say we, Herman, you're talking about a staff or
Well, no.
just being modest?
Let's say
I?
Eastman Kodak makes the film, and
Oh, yes, of course.
you know, the old story.
Yes, but for example, an
You
art
don't do
director...
it on your own, let's face it.
Yeah, but you at that moment.
That's right, that's
you,
right.
it's up to you to see the picture.
This is a Dow Chemical ad, soil fumigation.
All right, question, germane to what we've just been talking about. The art director calls you up, retains you to take the picture. Did he come out with a sheet, with a sketch of what he wanted?
On some assignments, the advertising,
this
this
assi-
is
on
kind of
this
a
assignment.
documentary. No, we don't have, you just go out into the area and see what you can do with it, you see.
So now you can bring your design.
That's
and you-
right,
that's-
yeah. These are your
That's
own
great.
compositions.
That's a
yeah.
swell composition.
Yeah.
I was getting at it because you said when you went to art school, you took a course and some other courses beside photography. I think we got a couple of guests here who emphasize the importance of design. I think this, either consciously or unconsciously, shows beautiful sense of
Yeah.
design.
Well, you've got to have the feel. I mean, the pictures came first, and then the rules of composition came later, originally, right?
Do you enjoy breaking the rules sometimes?
All the time. This would make it interesting, you see.
That's nice. We are back.
This again is the Oregon Bulb Farms, Oregon.
No, Oregon.
Oregon.
Oh, you can-
And these were hung in the World's Fair, New York World's Fair in 1966-67, and in the Eastman exhibition, and had a medal award out of it.
Beautiful.
These are the original prints, by the way.
Thank you for bringing them on the show. I appreciate that. Let me ask you about these. Again, natural light?
All natural light, and this is the soft light, overcast. We have a lot of overcast up in Oregon.
I've heard that,
Yeah,
George.
yeah.
I have
And,
heard that.
it's just a perfect light for any type of photography.
4x5?
4x5, that's right.
Look at this.
I'm sorry I don't know the names of these.
That's a lily.
These are all hybrid lilies.
Yeah, yeah.
All
And
right.
each year they have new hybrids. So you've got to go back up and shoot the new hybrids. And
Beautiful pictures.
I went up there in 1946 for Life magazine. And then I went back every year for the client himself, and I'm still going up there.
Is that so?
Up last year, I've got a...
You worked for Life magazine in 1946. What do you-
This, I didn't work for them. We had an assignment from Life
from them?
magazine.
Well, that's what I mean.
And
An
it was
assignment.
up at the Oregon Bulb Farms.
What do you think of the new Life magazine?
I haven't seen it,
5 issues and you haven't seen it yet?
no.
You're not really too excited about it, are you, Herman?
You're gonna. It's okay. You can say anything you want.
Hey, come on.
I can.
We've had people come up here and liked it, and some people didn't like it. I'm just curious if
No,
you
I
haven't
haven't
seen it yet.
no.
He's not going to say anything, Lee.
Oh,
Let's go on to the next. Oh, look at the color. Oh, look at how that green works with the pink. It's just,
See, it's soft background out of focus,
wonderful.
makes a beautiful bed for this.
and
These,
the thing they can
yeah.
grow in Oregon are these little Japanese maples that don't
You know,
work in Southern California, I'll tell you.
Herman,
Well, the name of this, Pink Perfection. It's the only one
is
I
that
know.
it? The only one you know? On this show, Herman, sometimes silence is terribly very loud, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd like to let him off the hook.
One more quickie on the flowers,
these are,
and then we go to something
These
else.
are just magnificent, Herman. They're just wonderful.
Again, these are Jan de Graaf, the famous name in Holland. And
Could you shoot these with 35?
I cover in 35 for slide projection, as well as the 4x5 for the actual print.
Are you going up again this year?
Yes, and I shoot 35 transparencies and the Kodacolor for prints,
All right.
and 2 1/4
Let me ask you this.
Hasselblad.
How comfortable do you think you'd be, you're going up this year, how comfortable do you think you'd be just shooting the whole job on 35?
Well, there's one reason why not, and that is they gang print these.
Good reason.
You see,
I don't understand what that
well,
means.
when they make their plates for the ad or the brochure, they have all these prints
3, 4,
lined up
5, 6, or
on a
more
plate,
than that
you
on
see.
the plate.
35 millimeter, you have that cardboard square on it, you see.
So.
So
See what they do is the gang is to save money. Really, what they're doing.
That's right.
They take a lot of the photographs instead of making a separate
individual plate for each one.
They gang them.
They
Gang
compose
print
them on
them.
on
Yeah.
one plate, right? I see.
but for the projection, I mean, the Kodachrome
I mean, look at one more. They're magnificent.
is my favorite film. You see.
Question we should have asked, and I'm glad it just entered my head. What kind of print? Type C?
These are Type C prints, yeah.
Very nice.
Beautiful,
RC,
beautiful.
yes. Mhm.
In doing this myself, you know, not this quality. One of the problems, I love, you know, this out of focus. If there's any wind, I get into all kinds of problems with, you know, because I.
Good question. What did you shoot this at? Roughly. I mean, you might not remember exactly. What kind of exposure did you shoot?
Oh, this is probably about maybe a fifth or a tenth.
Yeah, that's the
And,
trouble with the wind that,
that's right.
that I've run into.
Some things you can't have the wind, but others show movement, you see. You may
Well,
want to
yeah,
show
that can
you
be
see.
fun. Yeah.
Aha, we are out of the flower. We're no longer in Oregon.
We are now in Istanbul, and this was made on a series for
Say it.
Communications Foundation, and we spent 6 months in the Middle East. Went through Turkey, Iran, and Pakistan, and this is for an educational series.
Nice.
Beautiful,
Look.
beautiful.
This is a terrible, George. You know, we hadn't had many of Herman's people, but this is a terribly powerful photograph.
Oh, yeah.
One-arm paper hanger series was made for a U.S. camera on an assignment. We did the whole series. Incidentally,
Excuse me, I'm gonna
this
move
is
a little
4x5.
If you don't
too.
mind? I guess it's all right there. This is
And,
4x5?
4x5 on a tripod, had light each shot.
You did it for U.S. camera?
Yes.
What was the purpose of it? Just for...
Just a story, editorial story, you see. And we had the whole series of him working, and this is one of the prints.
You
So
told
this
us earlier...
is an actual fella who
Yeah, that's
is
right.
an actual
yeah.
paper
Mhm.
hanger.
That's right.
You told us earlier that you were in Omaha Beach and you were in a hospital with another GI. Did you lose a limb?
Yes, I lost my left leg on the invasion.
Do you think that terrible loss or that loss of the limb gave you some extra simpatico in shooting a story like that?
I shot that before the war.
Oh.
But
That's interesting.
anyway, I mean, he's overcome his handicap. And
You sure seem to have
Yeah, you
overcome
should.
yours.
I wouldn't be aware of it, certainly.
Look at this, George. Wait a minute, before you say, I didn't quite know. Do you know who
I
that
know
is?
who that is, sure. You know why I know? I saw a College of the Pacific there. That's Alonzo Stagg, isn't it?
Alonzo Stagg, the great football
the father
coach.
of football.
Yeah, that's
It's a
right.
nice warm shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is for one of the magazines, either American Magazine or Collier's. I don't remember which.
Nice,
The
nice
picture
shot.
kind of says, you know, what we all heard about Alonzo
right.
Stagg was that
He's a
he
great
was a
man.
neat guy.
Neat
and,
kinda
it,
guy.
and it kind of, you know,
It
it
looks
says
like
that,
that.
doesn't it?
You know, he could almost be on a television show. I mean, it has that warmth that radiates off the still.
He's a great man.
How about this one?
Amos Alonzo Stagg.
Isn't that a great composition? Really. How do you make
Sure
that
had
better?
white teeth in those days, didn't they?
That was before Gleam and all that stuff. I don't mean to be nasty,
Yeah.
but
That's,
This
you
is-
know, this quality, you say can be done on 35.
I
but
didn't say that. Excuse
no,
me.
no,
I
no.
just asked if it could be.
Side by side, you know, it would look different. I swear it would look different.
Today, I wouldn't shoot this on 4x5,
What would you shoot this on?
35 millimeter.
What kind of lens?
Well, I'd use about either 105,
Yeah.
105 or 135.
In the 35, what kind of cameras do you use?
Well, I use both the Leicas. I have the old M4s.
Right?
I have two of those with the reflex housing
Right.
and the bellows for close-up. And I have two Nikons.
Herman, we have had
Two
several
Hasselblads.
guests on our show, and I want to hear your opinion. Which lenses, the Leica lenses or the Nikon lenses, which do you find sharpest?
I don't want to answer that.
You won't answer that.
It's the result that counts, you know. I like the Leicas. I mean, I've worked with them for many years.
You just
and,
answered it.
And I used that in the service, too, on the invasion of Normandy.
did.
Those are Leicas.
Did you ever get to Wetzlar with a
This
Nikon?
is
Excuse
Lieutenant
me.
John Mott Robertson, very close friend of mine, and flew a PBY long-range patrol bomber down in the South Pacific. Was lost on when the Japanese fleet came down.
It was lost. Was this picture used anyway?
Yeah, used in U.S. camera on their cover, and you didn't bring that.
No, it's a recruiting ad.
Yes, and a bond drive also.
Look at that shot.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
This is for Boeing up in Seattle. This is the Stratocruiser. I think this is about 46 or 47. And again, the inside flash And also the
right moment
sky
in the
background.
day, right? You did.
This was
Twilight,
late
I
in the
mean,
evening,
late
in the
evening,
twilight.
Yeah, but
twilight time.
you don't have all day to take that picture. You
Oh,
have to
no,
wait
no,
for that
that's-
moment,
that's right.
more or less, don't you?
Let's go from that. You say, when was this shot, Herman?
But 1946, I think, after the war,
When was that shot?
in the 30s, and this is...
30s?
Yes. And
Very avant-garde for the
That's,
30s.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
this is 35, by the way, and I didn't want you to make a mistake and tell me the quality on that 4x5 is pretty good, you see. And this is a Kodachrome slide, and it's a contrasty shot. So I make a black and white, and usually I'll reverse it into a solarized. This is just the contrast black and
Let's
white.
move
Here's
this
the
over. I'll leave it there. Let's move it over.
You got upside down, Lee.
I'm sorry. Let's
Well,
move
it
it
looks
over.
better that
Looks
way.
better.
No, I like it this way.
But you know, who was it who
Ooh, I
said?
like that. Ooh.
Who's it who said the more things change, the more they stay the same?
Well,
It's just back in
These
style
were made
again.
in 1930, you say?
no, these are a little bit later, after World War II, actually. But now this is a 35 Kodachrome, very contrasty. So I make a black and white contrast, and then solarize it. And you can have any grade of solarization, and this is one of them, you see.
You make the...
Contrast black
On what?
and white.
On what? On film or paper?
Film.
Film. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Then I reverse it partially, and it becomes a solarized.
You expose it to the light
Yes,
while
that's
it's
right.
developing.
That's
When you
right.
say film, do you use a tri-X or plus X, or do you use a graphic
Contrast film.
High contrast
Yeah,
film.
high contrast film.
Back to his nice heads.
Yeah.
This is the one-arm paper hanger.
Oh, yeah, it's the overalls. Yeah.
Now they're back in style, you see.
Coveralls, yeah.
That's right.
Fine.
Interesting composition. Shot with a 4x5.
4x5 Graphics that I
I
had
see
in the
that's
circus.
something I don't think you do with it yet. You wouldn't get that feel. 35.
This is San Antonio Brooks General Hospital, and we used to date the nurses once in a while, and that's when they left, you see.
You dated the nurses. What did you do with these good folk? Where was this shot? Nice picture.
This is shot in England. This is the town that we were stationed in before the invasion, called Chipping Sodbetty.
Let me move this over, George.
Oh, I wish we had time to pursue this, because look at that face there. I'm
And,
sorry. We've been no, you guys talk, but we've got to go.
Question.
We were talking to
Was this 40,
Herman
41,
Wall,
42?
our photographer. I'm
Yes,
George Fenneman. That's Lee Weiner.
42.
Let's talk about pictures, which we're going to keep doing.
Were these shot with 35 millimeter?
All 35, that's right.
In other words, you go the
These are
gamut. You go 35.
That's
you go
right.
Hasselblad.
These are the shots that I have trouble walking up and taking a picture of people that aren't my friends, or, you know, do you?
But since
Obviously.
the series has been running, you find it easier to go.
No, I have that invasion of privacy.
Herman,
Do you have the Mexican one there? I'm going to show him. The one with the 3 Mexicans. Oh, this is the one we should have showed over here.
look at this.
This is in Iran. This is...
Should have shown. We could go on and on. Look at this.